History of my oldest ancestors of whom I am very proud descend. May 12, 1272, Dom Afonso III gave, as interest and inheritance for himself and his legitimate descendants, the assets in Santarém, to his son Dom Martim Afonso the Chichorro, my 25th grandfather, Infante of Portugal, rich man at the court of his half-brother Dom Dinis, King of Portugal, Lord of Santo Estevão, Torres Vedras and Santarém, Governor of Chaves, son of King Dom Afonso III of Portugal and Moorish Madrigana, daughter of the Mayor of Faro, Alondro ben Becar. Dom Martim Afonso the Chichorro, Infante of Portugal, rich man at the court of his half-brother Dom Dinis, King of Portugal, Lord of Santo Estevão, Torres Vedras and Santarém, Governor of Chaves, was the son of Dom Afonso III, King of Portugal and Madrigana, later Moor Afonso, paternal grandson of Dom Afonso II, King of Portugal and Dona Urraca, Infanta of Castile, and maternal grandson of Alondro ben Becar, Mayor of Faro. Dom Martim Afonso o Chichorro had this epithet because he was small in stature. He was half-brother of King Dom Dinis of Portugal, and according to the chronicles, he was held in high regard by this king, a fact that led the king to make him occupy fourth place in the table reserved for rich men, with the others three places were occupied by Infante Dom Afonso, the king's full brother, Dom Dinis, by Count Dom Goncalo Garcia de Souza, the king's brother-in-law, and by Dom Nuno Martins de Chassim, the royal major-domo, and there was the lieutenant of Bragança among 1265 and 1284. From King Dom Afonso III of Portugal, his father, he received the Couto and the lordship of the Torre de Santo Estevão, which was a property belonging to the royal family, located at the end of Villar Santo Estevão, and also the lordship of Santarém, which would become yours and your descendants. In 1271, in his father's will, Dom Afonso III, he received £1,000 as an inheritance. On May 12, 1272, his father Dom Afonso III gave him, as interest and inheritance for himself and his legitimate descendants, the assets in Santarém that had belonged to his half-brother Dom Rodrigo Afonso, Concedo Jure Hereditario in Perpetuum Martino Alfonso Filio Mio Filius AC Filiabus Sues Abeo Legitime Descendentibus, Ons Hereditates et Possessions Quas Ego Habio in Sanctarina, it in Sues Terminus cum Omnibus Juribus et Pertinentia Sues, Quas Ego Habio de Rodrigo Alfonsi Mio Filio Qui Mortuus ist. In 1273, he was named governor of Chaves. At the court of his brother, Dom Dinis King of Portugal and with the title of rich man, he confirmed several royal diplomas between the years 1288 and 1300. He was lord of several assets in the Torres Vedras region, which he nevertheless sold for £1,500 of gold. Through his marriage to Dona Inés Lourenço de Valadares, or de Souza, the name Souza came into his descendants. Dom Martim Afonso Chichorro died around the year 1313 and was buried in the church of São João de Alparão, in Santarém, and on his tomb, in the photo, says Dr. Telmo Mendes Leal, in his master's thesis entitled, Small Architectures for Large Tombs, Micro-Architecture in the Late Middle Ages. The miniaturized architecture in Dom Martim Afonso Chichorro's sarcophagus is restricted, at the head, to a three-lobed arch, with the central lobe having a perfect round, peralted and serrated, under which we find the representation of the Virgin and Child. Either for its conciseness example, or the common frequency with which its architectural form is used throughout the 14th century, does not allow us to go beyond a description as an exception. The coat of arms of Infante Dom Martim Afonso. Everything indicates that Infante Dom Martim Afonso Chichorro, as a count rich man that he was, would have used his own arms, which would probably be the old royal arms. From his marital relationship with Dona Inés Lourenço de Valadares, or de Souza, lady representing the noble house of Souza, whose descendants represented, in their arms, jointly the royal arms of Dom Martim and those of the Souzas, in a quartered shield. These weapons later came to be known as the Souzas Chichorros or Prado weapons. Family and descent. Dom Martim Afonso the Chichorro was the bastard son of King Dom Afonso III of Portugal and Madrigana ben Alondro, daughter of Alondro ben Becar, Muslim mayor of Faro. He married Dona Inés Lourenço de Valadares, or de Souza, my 25th grandmother, daughter of Dom Lourenço Soares de Valadares and Dona Maria Mendes de Souza, from whom he had Dom Martim Afonso Souza Chichorro, 1280 had children with Dona Oldoncarenes de Briteiros, Abbess of Aruca, my 24th grandparents, one of them being Dom Vasco Martins de Souza Chichorro, who was the first Lord of Mortagua, and a daughter, Dona Beatriz Afonso Souza Chichorro, married to Dom Lopo Dias de Souza, Alcaide de Chaves, my 23rd grandparents. Dona Maria Afonso Chichorro married Dom Goncalo Aines de Briteiros. Dona Constanca Afonso Chichorro was a nun, her sister Dona Margarida was her executor and was appointed in an inquiry into her assets for the establishment of a chapel in the monastery of Santa Clara de Santarem on November 11, 1341. Dona Margarida Afonso de Souza. Dom Vasco Afonso de Souza.